Holy moly, boys and girls, here we go. Season 3 PTS Patch Notes. Whew, we got a lot of stuff to talk about. God, do we have a lot of stuff to talk about. New Joust map. We all knew it was coming. The Chinese Joust map just looks absolutely fantastic. New artwork. There's a new jungle boss to help you not be able to camp so much. So you kill the boss and then you go, and the towers and phoenixes and stuff don't attack for a short duration. Just really awesome. New layout and everything. Really cool. Looking forward to that, especially for 3v3 Joust. Moving down the line, we have some skins. We don't have footage of that because they didn't want to show it, but here's the thumbnails. So, yeah. All of these are pretty cool. Make it a little bit quicker because I have a lot to cover. So, Shining Heaven, Emma. Shield of the Gorgon, Athena. So her pints were the fourth, or actually, yeah, the fourth. That fucking Kukulkan skin, look. Soulless Machine, this is going to come with the current event that's happening for the Chinese, or the Japanese thing. This is the final reward, so it's new soul skin. Kind of cool. Just looking at the actual art of it, looks neat. We have a new Uller skin, buff Uller. Kind of goes with the Odin skin. Then we have a new Ymir skin, because Ymir needs new skins. This is kind of a sumo wrestler kind of look. And then the voice packs for all of them, along with some new updated kaiju voice packs. Then we're also getting Tyr and... oh, so good. Tyr and Chunga. Oh, I hate Tyr, but damn it, it looks so good. And I'm sick, by the way, I apologize. New ward skins, new avatars, go figure. Some new achievements. No one gives a damn about achievements. I don't give a damn about achievements. Oh yes, that's what it was, Rising Dawn. So yeah, get all that. Now we have new daily quests. Basically, these will be replacing the daily login. Kind of sucks in a way, because half the time I didn't even log in and play, I guess, so it's bad on me. This will encourage me to have to play, so it's good. I like it. New landing screen. We don't have any pictures of it, but we will see what that looks like. Moving on, general gameplay. New conquest map. There should be some things popping up, just kind of the various things that they showed. But new layout, making it so the buff camps are more open. Purple buff has been removed, sort of. The secondary part of it, where it gives you additional power contribution, has been removed, but it's been moved to the speed buff, which there's 3 of, and you can stack them. So you would kill all 3. I don't know exactly how it's going to work as far as, like, you know, starting positions, but yeah, that's how it works. And they spawn, there's little fire elementals, so that's kind of cool. Apparently you can get 21% movement speed and attack speed, which is rather ridiculous, especially for Mercury. Blue buff has been moved to where the speed buff used to be. And then there's a lot more EXP camps. So that's a thing that's happening. Spectator mode has not been... okay, so no spectator mode yet. Change to lifesteal. So no longer will it happen that when you kill a person who has 200 health and you crit for 1,000, you no longer gain 1,000 lifesteal, or whatever the percentage is. You gain up to, you know, the counting for the 200, basically. So making it so that you can't heal as much from getting the last hit on something. A bunch of new highlighting options, co-op difficulty, AI not being as dumb as they used to be, which God knows if that's actually going to be true or not. Buff icon unification and simplifications. This is for debuffs and crowd control icons. All good. If you mute a player, you no longer hear their social emotes, so if somebody spam laughs, you'll no longer have to hear it. Now let's jump into items. The first thing we're going to talk about is relics. So actives are gone as far as something that you buy. We now get relics. Originally it was going to be trinkets. It's changed to relics based on what Scott heard on Twitter. So hey, Twitter feedback matters. There you go, guys. If you're not following Scott on Twitter, it's twitter.com/HighResScott. You should follow him. But anyway, moving on. So what we're getting is, at level 1, you get a free relic. You don't have to take it at level 1, but you get your first one at level 1. Then you get your second one at level 12. Relics no longer have tiers. What they are is they're basically the tier 3 active of a lot of the old actives, or the tier 3 part of it, but with the cooldown of the tier 1. So a lot of them have very long cooldowns, similar to League of Legends, except it's a good bit better in my opinion. So the first one we're going to talk about is teleport. Very simple, teleport to wards or gods. No damage interruptions, however you still can be CC'd out of it. 180 second cooldown. Purification. Used to be purification beads. Removes crowd control effects and makes you immune to new ones for 1 second. 160 seconds. This no longer has the cooldown reduction that it used to have. Sanctuary. Using this item makes you invulnerable for 2 seconds, preventing you from taking any actions, but still being able to move. However, we do not have the version of this now that gives you the 25% damage reduction afterwards. Kinda don't like that as much, but you still get to move, so it's all good. We no longer have Combat Blink. May come back at some point, we don't know. But Combat Blink is gone, but we have Normal Blink, which is pretty much exactly the same on 120 second cooldown. This is going to make initiation gods like Geb and Sylvanas and all them, Ymir, a lot more difficult to use because they're not going to be able to just blink in every 60 seconds or so. I like it. I hate Blink. I do miss Combat Blink, but I never built it that much, so whatever. Curse. This is Creeping Curse. Reduces the healing by 65% and increases or reduces their movement speed by 40%. 120 second cooldown. Scout. Any of you who remember the old active that we used to have that gave you a ward? That's what this is. So at level 1 you can pick this up and you'll be able to place a sentry ward, and it resets every time you go to your fountain. 140 second cooldown. If you don't go to your fountain, obviously. This is going to allow you to place 1 sentry, no more, and you will be able to basically save 150 gold, and if the enemy kills it, they get 50 gold. So you got to be careful with it a little bit. You don't want to be giving them too much gold, but you can keep a certain spot actively warded. The next item we have is, the next relic we have is Wrath. This is, Wrath of the Gods. It does 140 damage to a minion in a 15 unit radius to a single enemy minion or jungle boss, jungle monster. It always targets the highest maximum health. This item deals 1,000 damage to jungle bosses, and every time someone else uses it, it does 50% less damage. So if 2 people have it, you can do 150 or 1,500 damage. If 3 people have it, I guess it'd be 7. You'd never do it, okay, basically. So yeah, 60 second cooldown. It might be good for junglers now, because you don't have to put the initial investment into it. It only kills 1, so it does a lot of damage to the big mob, but not the 2 smaller ones, so that's fine. Moving on, we have Sprint. This is actually heavenly agility, basically, without the additional healing that it used to give. So yeah. Using this item increases the owner and allies' movement speeds by 55% for 40 seconds, and it also makes you immune for the duration. Next we have Shell, which does 45 flat protection buff for 5 seconds. It also decreases damage taken by 15%. And I have a cough drop, so I do apologize. Next up we have Frenzy. Frenzy increases your physical and magical power by 20, and you do additional damage to objectives. This is towers, this is Gold Fury, Fire Giant, Phoenixes, Titans. So they're really giving this item a lot more life and making it so that you can use it for multiple things, right? Not just team fights, it has other uses. Meditation is making a return, making it so that you restore, and notably restore owner's health and mana. So 35% of the owner's health and mana. So if you're a character like a tank who has a lot of health, which we'll get into how that changes, but if you have a lot of health, you might want to pick this up to give your team a lot more healing. Whereas if you're a mage, you might want to pick this up to give your teammates a lot of mana regen, just kind of depending on what role you have. And the last one we have is a new active relic completely, which is Sunder. Fires a bolt that deals 40 true damage plus 14 damage per player level and reduces the protections by 25% for 4 seconds, 120 120-second cooldown. So this item is a skill shot, this relic is a skill shot, which is really cool. It gives you a fifth ability, if you will, on a long cooldown, ultimate level cooldown. But it's kind of big. If you land it, that's a lot of protections that person's about to lose. The damage isn't a ton. I'm just gonna quickly grab a calculator because I'm really bad at math. So, excuse me while I do math with a calculator. Yeah, that's negligible. 300-ish damage. True damage, though. Not a whole lot at max level, but it's really the protection part that's the good part. So moving on to consumables, reducing the vision of sentry wards from 60 to 45. Okay, guys, look, I'm not gonna lie. This is a lot of stuff we're about to talk about. Most of it you may not want to hear. I don't know. But we're gonna talk about it. Things I'm going to note first. Pretty much every cooldown item in the game has had its cooldown reduced by 5, give or take. They want to make it so that you have to buy 3 items. They want you to have it. They want you to invest in it, basically. Also, it's noting that items that have health and protections are either going to have more health now and less protections, or more protections, no health, or lower health, or no health at all, or you know what I mean. We have several new items coming into the game. Sadly, none of the ones that I made, but we'll go on with it. So Breastplate of Valor is the first one up. This is the Breastplate tree. So Breastplate of Valor is getting a reduction of cooldown by 20% to 20%, I should say, from 25. The next one we have is a new item, Spectral Armor. So this is going to branch off of the Silver Breastplate. It has 80 physical protection, 300 mana, 25% crowd control reduction, and a passive. Lifesteal is 50% less effective against you. Each time you're hit by a lifesteal effect, you have a 30% chance to gain an additional 20 physical protections for 5 seconds. This cannot happen more than once every 20 seconds, and it costs 2,300 gold. So basically, as I take my cough drop out, because it's getting on my nerves, basically this item is to help counteract hunters with lifesteal, or probably even assassins with lifesteal. Warriors, not so much. Mages, a little bit, here and there, like Anubis, Freya. But not really any of the other ones. Maybe a little bit with Soul. She could get away with a little bit because she has a lot of single target in hands and stuff. But mainly hunters and assassins. Height of the Nemean Lion getting a little bit of change. Now branches off of Silver Breastplate. Silver Breastplate. No longer provides health, but it has had its physical protections increased 90. Now provides 200 mana, and the price has been decreased by 50. Not a big change, but a little bit there as far as the price goes. I love the mana. I love more mana options. I'm always down for more mana. Next, we have the Iron Mail Tree. So, Steel Mail now reduced the physical protections from 40 to 20. And if you can actually read the notes here, basically they're just talking about the differences of health versus protections. Mystical Mail has had an increase of health. So these are the high health, low protection items. So Mystical Mail has had its health increased, 80, and it had its physical protections reduced by 30. Midgardian's Mail has had its physical protections reduced by 30. Sovereignty has had its protections reduced by 20, but instead of giving you magical protections, it gives you physical protections and the 25 HP 5. So that means that the item is more geared toward physical protection. So you build this against a heavy physical group, or you build it in general just to give your own teammates the aura as well. Next we have the Glowing Emerald Tree. This focuses on health and healing regen. Stone of Gaia has been moved here as well. But it's lost its magical protections. I'm sorry, I'm just kind of reading it. New Tier 1. We have Glowing Emerald with 100 health, 10 HP 5, and 750 cost. Alright, not bad. Emerald Talisman. No longer provides magical protections. Increases the health to 200, increases the HP 5 by 220, excuse me. Stone Gaia has had its health increase from 100 to 350, but no longer provides the magical protections. Silver Mail has been renamed Emerald Mail. Makes sense. Now branches off of Glowing Emerald. No longer provides physical protections. Reduced the cost down to 1400, and now has 10 HP 5. Alright, so now let's talk about Mail of Renewal. Mail of Renewal is now part of the Glowing Emerald tree. It no longer gives you physical protections. However, it does reduce your cooldown by 10%. As we said, they removed 5 from it. And it has its health increased to 350. And also now provides 10 HP 5. So you want to pick this item up if you know you're going to be getting a lot of kills. Whereas Stone of Gaia, you'd pick it up because it just passively gives you more health. Then we have our next item, which is Gauntlet of Thebes. Most of you who may remember this item, it used to be really terrible because it was a stacking item. No one ever built it except for me on Geb when he was first released because he got... Anyway. Then they reworked it and it was the best item in the game and it was terrible and they removed it. So now it comes back. It has 400 health, 25 HP 5, and a passive that increases all healing received by 20%. This is a great item if you're a Hercules, a Chalk, any of those characters that have like a really good heal. Or if you have teammates like Chunga, Aphrodite, you can pick this item up and get more healing. And it costs 2,300 gold. Next up we have the Talisman Tree. This is focused on magical protection and health. So as you can see, Pestilence decreased the health by 30, or excuse me, by 100, but we're increasing the protections, but they're increasing the protections from 65 to 80. Heartward Amulet is getting a health nerf, so minus 100 there, but it's also reducing the magical protections from 50 to 40, but it now gives you 20 magical protection and 20 MP5. So kind of the same. It's actually a little bit better as far as magical protections go, but you know, you need it and Sovereignty to get the whole pair again. Last item we have is Bulwark of Hope. This item used to have 450 health, but now it's down to 20. It also now has reduced crowd control effects by 20% because beads is a lot worse now. They wanted to give you something to help counteract that. And the passive now, when you take damage and are below 30% health, you gain a shield with health, increasing 150 plus 15 per player level. Math. Hard. That's not math. I just failed at math on a calculator. 15 times 90 equals 285 additional health. Yeah. So that's... And it can only occur once every 60 seconds. Okay, new tree. New items completely. This is the Enchanted Kusari tree, I think. This is magical protections and MP5. Yeah. So we got Enchanted Kusari, which is 30 magical protections, 5 MP5 at 800 gold. Then we have Spellbound Kusari, which is 50 magical protections, 10% cooldown reduction, and 15 MP5 for 1,250 gold. Then we have is it Genji's? I think it's Genji's Guard, which is 80 magical protection, 20% crowd control reduction, 20 MP5, and your passive is your HP 5 is increased by 150%, your movement speed by 20% for 5 seconds upon taking magical damage. This can only occur once every 30 seconds, costs 2,600 gold. The basic thought behind this is it's just to counteract magic characters, right? It's magic v magic, mid laners, certain solo laners. It's pretty much the matchup that they're expecting this to be used for. Then we have Oni Hunter's Garb. This is 60 magical protection, 15% cooldown, crowd control reduction, 20 MP5, and a passive that is every 10 seconds you're out of combat, you gain a plus 15 magical protection, stacking up to 3 times, and upon taking magical damage, it removes 1 stack. So you get 45 additional magic protection This helps against Hebo, this helps against Freya. Anyone who has a lot of upfront damage that they do, this will greatly help. So, Cudgel Tree, this is Runeforge Hammer and Frostbound Hammer well, Frostbound not really getting a lot of changes, just a little bit. But Runeforge is basically completely reworked. So now provides 30... Wait. Oh, yeah. Now provides 30 physical power. Yes, 30 physical power. Reduce the health from 350 to 200. Increase the cost a lot. From up to 2,700, so that's a 650 increase. The new passive, your abilities now deal an additional 15% of your physical power as magical against enemies. And 30% if your physical power... and 30% of your physical power as magical damage against slowed or rooted characters. This is a neat item to me. This is a, like... I don't know. We'll see. This is a neat item to me. This is a like Shibalonke item. Not Shibalonke. X-Ball. No. Excuse me. AMC. Sorry, I had to pause to cough because that was really bad. So, Smithy's Hammer is getting removed. RIP Smithy's Hammer. Heavy Hammer no longer has a passive effect. They've increased the power from 18 to 20. They've increased the health from 100 to 150. Frostbound Hammer has had its health reduced by 25, not a big deal. However, the slow has been reduced to 1.25 seconds, the duration. So, good change there. I hate Frostbound Hammer. I'm glad to see it get nerfed a little bit. Next, we have the Round Shield Tree. This is Shield of Regrowth, Shifter Shield, and Void Shield. Basically, they just wanted to make some general changes. Shield of Regrowth now has an increased up to 30 physical power. Shifter Shield now gives 20 protections for each instead of 15, so it's a slight little buff there. Void Shield has its power increased by 5, and it also has its protection aura a reduction. Physical protection aura reduction. That's a lot of words. Increased to 20 because they want more pin. Next, in the Enchanted Buckler Tree, Ansile's getting a slight rework, reducing the cooldown, as I said. But its new passive is you gain 0.5 physical power for every 1% of missing health. So not really. I don't know. I don't like it. I don't think 0.5 is enough. But we'll see. Cloak Tree. This is your Spirit Robe, your Height of the Urchin, your new item, and yeah, Magi's. So we get a lot of new things. So Spirit Robe now has reduced cooldown reduction, obviously, but now offers 10% crowd control reduction. I think you can have a max of 30, or is it 40? I can't remember, of crowd control reduction. But yeah, so that one has 10. Height of the Urchin is getting a slight reduction baseline, so instead of 45 you get 35. However, you gain more protection per stack, so it is more, I think, right? It's 10 stacks, so you'll get 30 instead of 20. No, not really, it's the same. Really weird though, because Height of the Urchin is like rarely picked up, at least I see anyway. And then we get a new item. We get Cloak of Unrelenting Sorrow. So, as they noted in the Patch Notes video, let's start with the cost. It's 3,600 gold. So this is an expensive luxury item. So it has 60 physical protections, 60 magical protections, 15% cooldown reduction, yay! And it has a passive. If you take damage below 30% of your health, you unleash a shockwave that stuns all enemies within range 20. Whatever, for 1 second, and you gain crowd control immunity for 1 second. Cannot trigger more than once every 90 seconds. So basically, you just release a fart and everything gets stunned. That's pretty much what happens. Makes sense. It's a Bacchus item, right? And that's all the protection items. Holy shit, there's a lot. But we're not done yet, because let's move on. Next, we have offensive items. Soul Eater, you're getting nerfed. although you're getting buffed at the same time. It's kind of interesting like that. Soul Eater no longer provides health. Its attack speed has been increased by 15%, and its new passive, killing an enemy, eats their soul, granting 0.5 healing, or 0.5 lifesteal, and 0.5 movement speed, stacking up to 20 times. If you take damage below 50% health, all stacks are consumed, restoring 1% of your maximum health per stack. So you can regain at max 20% of your health. So if you drop to 49%, you will then get moved up to 69%. But that's not all. Noting off of that, every time you kill something, you then gain 1% of your health, as long as you are below the 50%. So if you're down to 30 and you kill a wave of minions, what is it, 6 minions, 7 minions, you're going to regain 7% of your maximum health. Not bad. And I believe, judging by... I wonder if that works with the 20% increase item. Testing. Bout Gauntlet no longer provides health and has had its attack speed increased by... I was about to say 7, no, by 8. The Katana Tree. Wah. So this is a physical protection movement speed tree, made mainly for assassins. So this is Katana. 10 physical power, 5% movement speed, 800 gold. Okay. 1,000-fold blade. Spiffy. 15% physical power, 8% movement speed. Not a big increase there for the additional 700 gold you have to pay. That's not 700 gold. 500. I'm bad at math. Shush. Not a huge increase, but alright. Masamune. This is the new tier 3 item. 30 physical power, 10% movement speed. Not a whole lot of movement speed increase, but alright. Passive, you deal additional physical power damage against targets with more maximum health than you, equaling 1 power per every 10 health difference to a maximum of 50 damage. 2,400 gold. I don't know how I feel about this item. Especially going by the namesake of Masamune, I don't know how I feel about this item. I don't know. We'll see. Stone Cutting Sword. Note specifically that this one says melee basic attacks. Something new. So this has 50 physical power, which is a lot. 10% movement speed. Passive. Melee basic attacks decrease enemy physical protections by 10 and increase your physical protections by 10 for 3 seconds. Max of 3 stacks. 3,100 gold. Note that everything that I say as far as costs and pretty much anything, this is PTS. Could all change. This is melee only. The only hunter that can build this is Uller. Probably shouldn't build this. But noted. So this is a assassin item. Maybe a warrior, but probably not. Maybe, well, you know, some warriors maybe get away with this. Ana might get away with it. Excuse me, Amma might get away with it. Osiris might get away with it. But really, that's probably the most of it. Next is the light. Oh, note that. No, we're not done. Excuse me, I missed one. Heartseeker. Ooh, how'd I miss that? So they decided to rework Heartseeker. 25 physical power, 15% movement speed, and a passive that is hitting an enemy with a basic attack helps you gain focus, increasing attack speed by 3% per stack up to 5 stacks. At 5 stacks, your next ability gains an additional 40 physical power. I designed an item very similar to that. I don't know if it was exactly the same, but very similar. Yeah, cool. 8. And they reduced the cost by 90. Cool. I like it. Next we have Light Blade Tree. New defensive items With new defensive itemization, Executioner and Cane Size is better shine. Okay, so Executioner now, instead of giving you the one, they increase the attack speed. Also, instead of it being scaling and flat pin, you only have scaling. So it's 6% for 3 seconds up to 6 stacks. So 36% pin, or 36% pin. Keen Size, they've increased the power to 40. They've reduced the cost to 2,700. Excuse me. Cool, I like it. Mace Tree, Jotun's Wrath. Jotun's Wrath has had its cooldown decreased. Boo. And they removed the 1 physical pin from it. Instead of giving it the 5 that it used to have, they removed the 1. Brawler's Beat Stick now applies to abilities rather than basic attacks. So it's Brawler's Cudgel. Was the old name that they used to have for that. So cool. Not what I wanted, but cool. Crusher now has a new passive, or passive now increases attack speed by 10% per stack and increases the penetration by 5 per stack. No longer provides movement speed. The Morning Star Tree. Transcendence didn't get anything. Oh well. And they didn't add any like cool new ones that I wanted, but whatever. Hydra's Lament now increases additional damage from 25 to 30. Yay, because Loki needs more ways to kill people. And Morningstar to Speed has no connecting item, so it's been removed. Lost Artifact Tree, Dome Orb has come back to its previous glory. 40 magical power, 20 mana, 7 MP5, a passive. You gain 2 magical power per stack and receive 5 stacks per god kill and 1 stack per minion kill. Half of the stacks are lost upon death, max of 50 stacks. Mages rejoice. Emerald Ring Tree, Demonic Grip, same overhaul as they gave Executioner. So 6%, 3 seconds, max of 6 stacks, no flat pin. Telkine's Ring has had its attack speed increased, but it's had its passive reduced. So it only does 35 instead of 40. And the health has been removed. I think it still has the magical protections, unless they removed that before and I never noticed, because who buys that item? I guess I might now. Voidstone has had its magical focus tree. Voidstone has had its magical protection reduction on the passive increased from 15 to 20. We now have a new item called Spear of Desolation. Note that this is a 3,700 gold item. Branches off of Enchanted Spear. Oh boy. 1,000. Wow. 130 magical power. 1,000 would be ridiculous. 30 magical pin, a passive. If you kill an enemy god, all of your cooldowns are reduced by 8 seconds. This cannot activate more than once every 30 seconds. Okay, so it's kind of like you could choose Rod of Tahuti, which gives you additional power, or you could choose this, which gives you all your cooldowns back. Or you can get both, which is probably what you'll do. Next is the Tiny Trinket Tree. Polynomicon used to be really powerful. It used to do 100% of your magical power, which was ridiculous. Then they nerfed it. Then they were like, oh yeah, let's nerf it again by making it where you have to land the ability. And now they're like, hey, you have to actually land your ability now, so let's bump up a little bit. Let's make it 75%. So now you actually have to land your auto attack afterwards. Cool. Emerald Helmet Tree. Dynasty Plate Helm has had its magical protections increased by 10. Celestial Legion Helm increased its physical protections to up 20, actually, up to 70. Good. Uncommon Sash Tree. Basically, they were like, hey, let's buff Ethereal Staff and nerf it. Sort of. So increases the passive power by from 2 to 2.5 health converted into power, but they reduce the health from 600 to 400. So next we have the Shuriken Tree. A lot of Japanese themes here if you can't tell. Alright, so we have Shuriken Tier 1. 100 physical power, 10% crit. Ooh, 900 gold. Throwing Dagger. Wait. Yes. It's been moved over. This item now builds from Shuriken. Increases the critical chance from 7 to 10. Golden Bow. It's been moved over here. 8-point Shuriken. 15 physical power. 15% crit. 1,500 gold. They like the 15s on an 18-point or 8-point dagger. Then we have the Wind Demon. 40 physical power. 20% crit. Passive, your crits now reduce healing on targets by 40% for 3 seconds. 2,800 gold. Basically what they wanted to do was make it so that they were removing the one-hander debuff for healing. So they wanted to give them something. I don't know how I feel about this item and all, but we'll see. Next we have the Hidden Dagger Tree. This is your Deathbringer, your Malice, and your Rage. With the addition of more crit into the system, the stat itself has become more valuable. So what they do, they made everything cost more or less. Deathbringer now cost 50 gold more. Woohoo. Rage now cost 155 gold less, but it only gives you 20% crit. And then increase the maximum, the number of maximum stacks the passive gives you from 5 to 6. Malice now cost 100 gold more. Rip. Do note though, now that we're done talking about these changes, you're going to have an additional 1,800 gold to spend because you don't have to buy actives. So that's why they threw in some things that cost a little bit more, and it's all testing. So now let's talk about God changes. This is the big topic, right? Oh my god, these patch notes are gonna kill me. This video is already 36 minutes long. Holy shoo. I don't even know how long the actual video they did was. An hour and 30 minutes. Wow. Okay. I feel like I'm doing pretty good then. So Alpoish reduced the amount of health restored from his passive from 6% to 5%. Alright. Undead Surge now has a scaling for the slow. Instead of being 40, it's 2240 per rank. Amma taking a slight... Actually, no. I was going to say she's getting a slight nerf. That would be a lie. I've lost my mouse, though. There it is. Okay. Instead, she now has... When she uses her ult, it now makes a bell chime so that you know that it's happening. Ao Kuang. Oh, Sir Dragon, you're getting buffed. But not in the way you would think. They are buffing all of his stats, basically. Mainly the scalings in most of the cases. So he's getting more health per level. He's getting more HP 5 per level. More MP 5 per level. A lot of MP 5 per level. More magical protections per level. And more in-hand damage per level. Cool. Artemis. Her boar might be useful. So basically what would happen is the boar would come out. It would charge someone and it would stun itself. For 1.5 seconds. Now, it's only every 0.5 seconds, so he's going to be stunning people a lot more often and not dying as quickly. Bellona taking a slight nerf here, reducing the slam bonus damage from 30 to 25% per god hit. I still think that if she gets stunned out of her bludgeon, I feel like it should not give her the hammer as a penalty. But what are you going to do? Scourge is also reducing the disarm time from 2 to 3 to 1.4 to 2.2 seconds. Bakasura is eat minion. Oh, well, first off, he's getting increased physical power scaling. Or base scale, excuse me. Yeah, whatever. From 36 to 38. His eat minion, though, is going to increase the buff duration to 5 seconds. So double, or to 10 seconds, doubling the amount of time. Reducing the cooldown to 15% at all ranks. Or 15 seconds at all ranks. And reducing the mana cost to 55. So that's pretty big. Chiron getting a little bit of a nerf here. Masterful Shot having a little bit longer cooldown. And his passive cannot have multiple stacks. However, it does refresh the duration. Guan Yu getting a little bit of a buff. Making it so that he has more movement speed. Also apparently fixing a bug where Cavalry Charge would not go uncool, or would Basically, if Capri revives him while he's in the middle of cavalry charge, it didn't count the ability as going on cooldown, and he could use it again. That's been fixed. Biggest change of the patch notes: Hades is now a mage, but with no stat changes. Go figure. He was already a mage. Kali. Mark of Death. Now rewarded on kills and assists. Kali now heals 80% of her maximum health on kills and 15% on assists. Increase the gold bonus gained from 25 to 30. So it would be assist gold. So if you get the kill, you get a 30% additional amount. If you don't get the kill, you get 30% additional. If you get the kill, assist, whatever. Look, if you get the assist gold times 30, or you get the kill gold times 30, depending on what you get. Capri taking a nerf. Yay! Reduce the damage reduction from his Rising Dawn from 10 to 30, from 5 to 25. Pretty good nerf there, 5% overall. And then Scarab's Blessing, reducing the range by 10 and fixing the error on the stating give you power. Odin getting movement speed increase, same as Guan. And his Ring of Spears, he can now leave them and they last 6 seconds. He doesn't have to leap out of them anymore. Raven, Praz Onslaught, reducing the damage from 95% to 80%. Tin-Handed Shadow Fist, increasing the cooldown from 15 to 18. Pretty big change, actually. Nemesis getting a slight passive change, and her ultimate's also having reduced cooldown down to 70. She holds the Scale of Fates. Hitting enemies with basic attack reduces their physical power. Reduces their physical power or magical power by 4% per hit, while increasing her own physical power by 4% per hit, max of 4 stacks. So 16% decrease, increase. And this is important because it can be used on minions as well. Because it doesn't steal it, it's just her increasing and her decreasing. Serket getting a nerf, reducing her movement speed from 380 to 370. So she's still pretty quick, but she's not as quick as Odin. Also reducing the cooldown of her Death's Bane by 2, or increasing it, I should say, and her Ambush by 3 seconds. Soul getting a hit to her Stellar Burst, no longer applying the slows on enemies. She will have to build an item to get that. Thor's Warrior Madness, reducing the physical power, from 15 to 10. Tectonic Rift, increasing the cooldown from to 17 seconds at all ranks. Funny thing being that the tooltip has said this. However, it has been scaling down for a long time and it's never been noted. Yay! Vamana getting some love, increasing his movement speed up to 380, so he's up to her Serket's old one, and also increasing the radius of his ultimate damage by 4 units, yards, whatever measurement you want to use. Jing Tian is getting a slight nerf, adjusting the cooldown of his Furious Roar to 14 seconds at all ranks. Hook Slam, which is where he hooks up into the air, is having the axe damage decreased by 5 at the top end, actually all ranks, and the slam damage, which is when he lands, going down by 10 at all ranks. And then Sky Cutting Axe is reducing the cooldown from 14 to 15. Technically, it's increasing the cooldown, whatever. And then Ymir is no longer going to tease pose. So that's a whole lot of stuff that we covered in 43 minutes. Holy crap. I don't want to talk anymore. That's a lot of changes, guys. I'm going to quickly try to put this together, but yeah, it's a lot of stuff. Going to be really cool. And yeah, we'll see how the PTS goes. I will be playing on it as soon as it is up, so I'll be streaming it as well. Thank you for watching. My voice is about dead. Bye, guys.